Hi, I'm Casey Henry and welcome to Behind the Break. This is a new thing that I am trying here on my channel where I'm going to explain a little bit to you about the choices that I made when I was making up the arrangement of this particular song, which is Shoutin' on the Hills of Glory, which is a Stanley Brothers song. So there are lots and lots of decisions that go into making these arrangements. Sometimes they have to do with making the break easier or harder. Sometimes they have to do with making it easier to teach or easier to learn on your end. So I'm just going to try and give you a little insight on how I came up with the arrangement that I ended up with. So I'm kind of assuming that you've already listened to the playthrough that I did. This tune, when the person requested it, they didn't give me a specific level. Sometimes people will tell me if they're a beginner or intermediate or advanced, and sometimes I'll ask them and they'll let me know, and I didn't have the information for this student who requested this break. So I just decided to go for a solid intermediate level break. And this is a Stanley Brothers tune, so if I don't have a preset break that I've been playing for a long time, or I don't play the exact break from the recording, I always go back and reference the original recording if I can. So I went back to the Stanley Brothers recording of it and I listened. And what I found out was that they played it in A, but I chose to teach it in G, so you wouldn't have to capo, when you're learning. That's always kind of a pain. And what I also found out was that they used the chorus for the break. Kind of typical in a bluegrass song to play the verse for the break. So that's what I would have defaulted to. But because the Stanley Brothers played the chorus for the break, I also worked out a chorus break for this. Now, I listened to what Ralph played, and it would have been really hard to learn that. For you, it would have taken me a while to figure it out from what he was doing, and it would have just been really, really hard to teach and hard to learn. It would have made the level of the break like super advanced. So I didn't want to go with what Ralph played. So what I chose to do was get as close to the melody as I could using basic Scruggs licks, and I also stole Ralph's little ending lick that he did on the end of the break because it was really simple and it covered the melody like I wanted to cover it. So for the first phrase, I chose these pickup notes because those are kind of it's a Ralph Stanley-ish thing to do to start with a 5-1. He does that a lot. And we needed a couple pickup notes, so we just slapped those on the front. This first phrase is all standard Scruggs licks. There that is really, really new, even if it's not a lick that's already in your repertoire. All of those are good ones to take and use in other songs in an improvising kind of way. So I was really happy with all of those choices of licks. The second phrase has D licks plus C licks. So there's always tons of ways you can go on a D lick. I chose this particular one because I think it's one of the easiest ones roll-wise to do, with just kind of a John Hardy shaped D, and it's all forward rolls. You don't have to reverse your roll at all, which makes it easier to learn. And then followed by a C lick, which is a standard double square roll C lick. Almost everybody at an intermediate level has some form of that C roll in their repertoire already. So we're on solid intermediate ground here. The third phrase is exactly the same as the first phrase. When the melody does that, when it's the same on the first and third phrases, I always try and make the break exactly the same so that you don't have to learn anything different and remember to do anything different from the third phrase to the first phrase. So third phrase, exactly the same as the first, in this case, even keeping the pickup notes. And then the fourth phrase, this is where I stole one of Ralph's licks that he did on the recording. So here's what I came up with. So the little single string lick there, that's exactly what Ralph did. I chose a square roll combo to go in front of it, or a slide pull off combo. and then a tag lick to go on the end, because that's just kind of you almost always have that. If I had been doing my own arrangement and not referencing Ralph at all, I probably would have given some hammers or something here, like, because that's also kind of a Ralph Stanley-ish thing to do. He just didn't do it in this particular break. And also that fourth phrase is where you can do a ton of generic ending licks, like you could just go. Or you could even put a Roll in My Sweet Baby's Arms lick on there. That fourth phrase tends to be the place where you have a lot of choices to cover kind of the standard ending chords on a singing song. So that is kind of my thinking behind how I got to this very intermediate level break. If I had been doing a beginner level break, I might have made different choices. If I'd been doing a more advanced break, or if somebody had asked for the Ralph's break exactly as he taught it, exactly as he played on the recording, I would have had to sit down and pick it out note for note. But this was just kind of solid intermediate level break, hopefully easy to learn on your end, and quick and easy for me to come up with an arrangement for and get it recorded and out to you so you can listen to it and learn it. So I hope you have enjoyed this new Behind the Break feature on my channel. If you made it this far, let me know whether you'd like me to keep doing this. This is my first one. If I can do it for all the breaks, if you enjoy knowing what went into my thinking as I was making this arrangement. All right, thank you for listening.